All right, with percents, we actually learned three different methods. You might remember in our INBs, we learned about visualizing them, maybe drawing a diagram or a bar model or a tape diagram. We then learned the equation method where you kind of just translate each little part into a mathematical equation. And then the third way we learned was the proportion method, the is over of equals percent over 100. So since we've got three methods and we have three problems, I'm going to do one of each method for these problems. So if we look at A, I think that I'll go ahead and do this with the equation method. Okay, so we just do it step by step. So 28 is 28, right? I mean, that's just a number and we rewrite it. Then we get to the word is. We know in math when we have 3 plus 4 is 7, is means equals. Now we get to the what. We're looking for something, we don't know what it is. We're going to call what percent, we're just going to call that whole phrase X. Then we get to of, and we learned that of in mathematics means to multiply. And then our final number here is 448. So we have an equation with X on the right side, and we're trying to get that X by itself. And so how do we do that? Well, we draw a river and we ask ourselves, how do I get rid of multiplication? Well, I would divide. So I'm going to divide this side by the number I'm trying to get rid of, which is 448. And whatever I do on one side of the equation, I also do on the other. So I'm going to divide this side by 448. So those will cancel out and I'm left with X by itself, which is good. That was my goal. And then I'm going to leave you to figure this out. You will clearly get a small decimal because 28 is small compared to 448. And we know that if the question is what percent, we need to move that decimal 2 times to get the percentage. And just as a reminder, you were to round all your answers to the nearest tenth. Okay, for B, 40% is a pretty nice, easy percentage to work with. So I think I'm going to draw this, and you're going to see a really bad circle in just a minute. Well, this is not so bad, I guess. Here's my circle, and I need to show 40%. So I might divvy this circle up into fifths, into 5 parts. And this is where it might get really interesting. So I'm going to pause this, and when I turn this back on, it will be drawn for us. So hold on. All right, looking pretty good, right? Okay, so we know that each one of these is 20% because 5 20% is equal to a whole or 100%. All right, and we know that 40% is what we need to shade. So here is 20%, here's 40%, and I'm going to shade this whole thing. Okay, and I know that all of this 40% is 68. Okay, so 68 is in these two little pieces of pie, which means that each piece of the pie would be how much? If two pieces make 68, then that means each little piece is 34. And the question is, what is the whole shebang? We want to know the whole entire number. Well, visually, you can just figure this out now. You've really got 5 pieces of pie, and each are worth 34. So that would give you the entire number. And finally, we'll use our is over of equals percent over 100 method. Okay, so we just start here and we see what goes with is. And then we have 125 going with percent. And we have of going with 16.25. It's just right, bang, bang, boom in order. So the what is the is. So whenever we don't know what is, that's our x. Then the 125 is clearly the percent because it has the percent sign there. So that would be the 125. We have our equal sign in the middle. We know that the fixed number in this is always 100 over here on the bottom right. And then the of is going to go in the of spot, 16.25. And so you have this proportion that you can now solve with cross multiplication. Hope this helps.